Okay, so we're recording your 52 card reading. This is about your imposter syndrome and the question of feeling fulfilled at work. Okay, so what I have is the positioning of where you are in the scenario of this context and the growth in your chart, as well as what new beliefs may help you along the way, what surrounds you in this moment, so we can get some clarity. Earlier we talked about your biorhythm, your Mercury, your Venus, your Mars, all those kind of influences, how you think, how you feel, how you act. Those are the columns that we're looking at now. So we've got divine timing always in play, right? This is our awareness, our acceptance, our self-responsibility, our activation, our momentum, our transformation, and the transmutation, the highest possible. Transmutation, transformation, okay? So as we think about how we think, all these cards are telling to us how we're thinking, and I'll break them down for you so you don't have to worry about that. This would be how we feel about the situation. This is the action we could take. This is going to be the accountability in row 4. How you receive information, the accountability, the integration, and then the ascension. So if you look at it that way, then it makes it easy when you can look at this. And this I can also put the coffee in your Trello as well. Okay. So the answer to your question, we're going to look around the middle area to start with. And when we look at that, we're looking at new beliefs. And so we look at the card that's in here, and we look at the 3 of clubs. And the clubs this is known as the writer's card, but it's all about that creative expression. So it's interesting. Like I'm going to have these moments of my face and my voice being really funny because you can't make this stuff up, right? Like things we talked about in the room today already. So we've got this creative expression coming through you, how you think about that creativity. You're either thinking in anxiety, worry, or frustration. And we have a 3.
That's how I feel. Like when creativity comes out, it's like...
Yeah, you're like, and then we'll look at that later. We'll clear that out. But for the 3 also, it really just wants to create. And it wants to love what it's creating. And it wants to express every ounce of you.
All my hobbies are all...
Yes, it's all a part of you. So it's asking you bluntly, in this scenario, to be more fulfilled at work, is to create expressively. Yeah. To think in terms of creation. To shift your thinking around how you're believing those stories to be true for you.
Yeah.
Okay? And then we can look at some supporting evidence around that.
So challenging already, like how
right? But we're bringing it up. So what your job is to be with what is. Take a moment if emotion comes up. We let it come up. Okay, it's already moving anyway. We don't have to do anything special.
I need tissues.
Right behind you, on the bottom level.
There you go.
And as these things rise up and they move, they're gonna clear. They don't have to look a certain way, right? You don't have to go back forever. We just have to recognize where at one point you made the decision that wasn't okay for you to show up that way. And then we make a new decision. Yeah. Okay? So the mother, the mothering, the nurturing energy around that is this 9 of diamonds. It's saying, can you let go of how things used to have to look? The way that you used to think your value was. Or that you think it is now currently, and let it expand you into higher thinking, higher experience. This is your physical expression, right? Your creative expression wants to graduate into more. So what's your relationship with allowing more? And then we look at that from terms of how you feel about that. So the 9's always inviting us higher, but sometimes things have to end for the new beginnings to start. I also love thinking of 9's as graduating. What next? What's really just sitting here ready to unfold next that you're resisting? When you can receive it, the diamonds are receiving their finances, their body, their environment, they're all the things, whatever context to what we're talking about right now, usually all of them, right? It's just inviting you into higher thinking around it so you can create and then let yourself have what wants to flow through from there. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's the nurturing, and that's the hardest part right now. That's where the resistance is. So the unity consciousness that's at play is really creating a foundation of love in all the things that you're doing, especially at work. And so even though it might be afraid, if you can see yourself doing it, these are your opportunities to step out of that comfort zone, the mundane, the autopilot, and bring in more fulfillment. You're probably bored. You're not challenging yourself the same way. And the 4 is like, create that stable flow from letting yourself be that love of expression, right? So loving yourself more, it's all going to center around this belief, okay?
Yeah.
The allies, the supports, and the community that are here, sorry, this is where I start going, can't make that up. The Queen is nurturing from that advanced look. So it's the seed was planted. This is a seed that's being planted. The 3s are also a seed. You're planting a seed of creation, of self-expression. This is like the 3 that went through the journey, and now the Queen's looking back and say, hey, let's nurture this with our intuition. She's the intuition card. So beyond just the mind, really trusting in that intuition to help birth this new belief that you can be more. You don't have to be the burden of that old belief anymore, that you can actually have everything you want. But it's going to come by doing things a little bit differently than you've been doing them. Right? And you know that because you've made these huge changes and you're watching all the rest of matter kind of fall into place from the endings of the divorce, from the endings of the fight. Eventually you're going to have to choose to stand up and rise into who you want to become and the expression of that. Does that make sense? So commitment and belonging is going to come from that change of thinking, that change in career, that change in lifestyle. That's going to take you into higher sense of what you're wanting. The change can often feel like the thing we're resisting, right? Someone's asking of us, step up, try this. Or we know that the change is here, or something has to change for us to feel happier. But through that change is the adventure, the play, the freedom you're actually looking for. The 5's very much about freedom. So change doesn't have to be a bad thing, but through it will take you to the freedom. So again, relationship to more, relationship to change, and how it feels in your body. Okay? And then over here we've got the mental attachments. So the mental attachments are the overwhelm and the overthinking that keep you from your higher purpose, from that personal expression, from mastering that purposeful devotion to being more of you in this creative expression. It's infinite. Okay. This is a connection within. All the dark cards are this inner journey, right? And these are some of the outer expressions, but you've got a lot of black cards playing in here saying this is an inner journey that you're on right now. And it's helping you to get clear and let your body feel more than it's been feeling or that it's been numb to feel as it moves forward. Okay, so I think of the 8 also as an opportunity to step into your personal power, maybe in a way you haven't learned, or maybe with some new tools that can help understand when the mind's playing these games, which is some of the work that I wanted to do after our meeting anyway. So that'll help set your foundation in place at least, so you can have these conversations within. So the authority and the knowledge that's coming through is very karmic. You've learned a lot of lessons along the way. I'm going to sneeze, sorry. Removing energy. Wait for it to come up. Okay. But it also is here to create harmony. So it feels very much like a letting go of what was and landing into who you are now. So in context to our conversation, you don't have to be the robotics expert. Everything you need is within you right now. The value that you bring is you being you. You being that wisdom, that full expression of you that comes into these conversations and has interesting things to contribute, interesting perspectives, right? That's worth more than anybody who's got a gazillion degrees and can't put a sentence together to help someone solve something. Right? You have the ability to look outside the box. So what wants to harmonize is how you choose to show up to do that. Okay? And the pain comes when you don't. Right? You're not there anymore. You're not being limited. You're not being beat down. You're not being told you're no good. Right? You're enough. So when the seed plants, the plant literally sprouts. We don't stop watering or loving it. We want it to grow into its fullest expression. And that's where you are with that authority and knowledge. Your self-authority feels like it's on the fence because you're the one who gives permission. Permission to rise and shine. The gifts and talents, all these spades are playing right now. This is like your connection with your intuition, your higher meaning in life, that higher perspective. So body, mind, spirit, like spirit's guiding you in this right now to help you lead yourself into something you couldn't possibly have thought of. That's so spectacular. You've already been playing and meeting the universe in trust. In a little bit of the unknown, this relationship with the unknown will unfold you to continue to rise toward it instead of away from it. Where the safety is already the thing we're working on in the body, to feel safe to trust that just a little bit more. Doesn't mean, like, I used to have all these visions of what that meant, the unknown. Does that mean a ghost is going to show up? Does that mean, like, you know, like, I don't know what it is for you, but that was kind of like silliness looking back now that I thought it meant. And it really just meant you can leap and know you've got yourself. That you can trust you. That you're going to be okay no matter what. But you may not have all the answers on the leap, but you can still leap. So it's holding the space and the vision of what you want in your life, the fulfillment that you're wanting. It feels a certain way. Hold it until it gets here, just like anything else you've manifested. And then hold it again. And make space for all the goodness that comes in instead of a problem around why it isn't. Right? Or that you can't handle when it does, because that's just an old story.
Yeah.
That makes sense? And then the 3, the learning, the lessons, and the sharing. Again, the 3, right? So we're either playing in all of the worry. I always think of 3s as anxiety, worry, overwhelm, frustration, and more. Did I forget any?
Yeah.
Just that whole
Yeah.
Whenever you feel like that, think of a 3 in your mind. It really just wants to create. You're not creating anything. You're ruminating on the same things that bring in more anxiety, worry, frustration, thoughts. Yeah? The way you've looked at it. You could ask yourself, well, what would I want to create instead? And you can feel into that fulfillment. So the practical mind is great, but it there's another side of it as well that can expand you into more possibility thinking.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Can I
Yeah,
into
yeah.
that? Okay, so let's look at where you are. Do you find yourself, your little Jack of Diamonds?
Oh.
I'll like play Where's Waldo. Yeah, okay. So the cool thing about this reading that I love, like you can't make this crop up, right? It's going to tell you exactly where you are on your journey of ascension. So beyond the mind, you've learned that there's beliefs present. There's things you can think differently about. So you're in the feeling state of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grounding.
Yeah, the grounding, how it feels, trusting the feelings, feeling the feelings, letting the feelings go. We're learning what's yours, learning what's not yours. But being very intentional about it, because that's where it brings the give a damn ability and the higher meaning, what that means like in your life to feel fulfilled. At work, you're in the feeling state of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's cool to be like, interesting, yeah.
Oh, can I have water?
You can. I have a water for you, so I'll let you look at that real quick.
So when we were talking about it, when you were talking, actually, I suddenly remembered The Artist's Way. You know that book? Yeah. So she, I think her name's Julie Cameron or something, or she talks about shadow artists, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm a shadow artist.
Yeah. Do you want to write that down in your journal at all, so you don't forget it later?
Sure.
I mean, it is in this, but.
Do you have a pen?
Yeah.
I'll just write it in this paper, so they're all
Here,
together.
use this for now. Yeah, I love when things pop in because they're.
Because for instance, right now I'm working with a designer, and I'm like, there was a part of me that I could have just designed this, but I also like. So there's this balance of like, I've always been supportive of artists. Like all my friends right now are like candle maker.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean they all have main jobs, but they're all like fulfilling and like, okay, let me buy stuff from you. Let me, so I just. And then I'm realizing like, oh shit, I'm a shadow artist. That's because I want to create. Yeah. So those are what shadow artists are. They become, let's say, a movie critic when they wanted to make movies and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Very interesting and good perspective.
Yeah.
And so nothing you need to know about now, but just maybe something to journal on later, or just it'll be in your thoughts on your drive home, and some of those things will connect, which is cool.
Yeah, software is very interesting because like it's not a science as much as it's very connected to the ones and the zeros, but there's so many ways to express the same, a software to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's honestly more of an art, and there's best practices around it, but they call it innovative. But it's really just like, oh, what's a new way of doing things?
Which could be a definition of innovative. It could be a definition of innovative.
Yeah, but I honestly just think it's just creativity trying to be pretentious. Yeah.
It's just creativity wanting to be birthed.
Yeah.
Right? People can call it whatever they want to call it. If there's a trigger in the word innovative, we can look at that.
No, there's no trigger. But
Okay.
And
what does it mean to you anyway? Doesn't matter.
That was a painful word for me for a while.
Okay.
Because I'm like, oh shit, I'm really good at what I do, but I'm not innovative. And then later on I realized that innovation is really just creativity.
Yeah. And you get to tell yourself what you choose to become.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I don't mean that there's no trigger. I just mean it's not different for creativity for me.
And that's no, it's good to know. What I'm saying is your definitions are the one that matters the most.
Yeah. So for me, like for instance, trying to be a dancer or a writer or anything, like, it's always about self-expression. I just can't really get to fulfillment.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've been indebted to self-expression?
Indebted, sorry.
So we started the conversation today with debt, clearing debt, physical debt, feeling indebted to this relationship. You have this relationship with yourself. Have you held back or denied love for your creativity in a way that you now feel a debt to be paid, or does it feel more free?
In terms of self-expression, I'm from an Asian household, so that's already.
Yeah.
My mom I'm the only girl as well, and then my mom is. My best guess is she's flustered, and she's not able to do a lot of things, so she kind of like channeled it through me.
Yeah.
And
do you feel that?
Yeah, and in terms of self-expression, for instance, one instance when I was young, it was kind of like, oh, why do you laugh like that? Because you will meet any Filipino, especially women, we laugh way too loud. That's just who we are. It's like, can't take ourselves seriously, can't take yourself seriously. It's almost like, honestly, like a lot of the, Gen Zers, like, Gen Z, more now in the Gen Z way of like, not being more sensitive and not being rude. Oh, that's not gonna survive. Just because Filipino humor is a combination of self-deprecation and also like when people make fun of you, you learn how to laugh at yourself.
Right.
So it's funny because like I get that we should be sensitive, but at the same time we should really not take ourselves seriously.
Right.
You get what I mean?
I come from the Italians. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, like we can't take ourselves. I'm like, oh my god, that's so rude. And I'm like, I went to that phase too, where like, but then like I'm appreciating being Filipino again, and I'm like, oh, it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
And like,
you can't make anybody feel any way they don't let themselves be felt.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, if you tell me that that's hurtful, I will stop. Kind of thing. So. Yeah, I was just not. My mom didn't let me be myself. She had an idea of what women should be.
Yeah. And I'm sure she grew up the same way. And then her mom before her, and her mom before her.
Her mom was not a nice person.
Right. So you carry some of that in your lineage too.
Yeah, she was not. I have two grandmothers who are not nice.
And guess what? You're an adult woman now.
Yeah.
And you can choose for yourself.
Well, I wasn't exposed to them, but yeah, exposed to my dad was very much into empowerment, and he tried. He's really
you go, girl.
Yeah, the whole Esguerra women we have this like thing about like the women tend to take on submissive men, but I don't think it is. It's just the Esguerra women are just really strong-minded. And I'm one of them, and I'm like, I'm lucky that I got into that, because then it seems like we produce women who have some confidence, at least more than common Filipinos. But I also have my mom, which so I don't have much daddy issues most mommy
I
issues.
have mostly mommy issues too.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah.
And yet there's so many gifts in that, right? Like I don't think it's by accident that we have the parents that we have, that we've gone through the things that we've gone through.
No.
And
I'm grateful for my parents. It's
you can look at her and be like, it's okay that I'm not that too, right? Because that was my whole goal in life.
She's going through her own journey. She's now traveling, whereas before it was kind of like, oh, I'm not traveling because no one is taking me. I'm like, take yourself.
Yeah.
And she's done that now.
Yeah.
She's way happier.
So she's finding her own empowerment
yeah.
too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's on their journey, on their path. So in your feeling state here, we've got the 8s. We all have diamonds energy. So this physical expression, this physical representation of your feeling is really bringing you out of the overwhelm and into the infinite possibility. Okay? And so how you receive is everything in that. Do you deny when someone wants to gift you something, or do you feel like you have to be the one to gift something? Can you just being open and the observing of how do I receive that? Do I have to make an excuse for it? Can I just be with that so I can be more of me without being apologetic?
Yeah.
Right? So those little practices. So the trusting of your intuition, the foundation in love, the letting yourself receive even more and let the disappointment go. If there's any disappointment or in others even, or and around the situation at work. But also just really embracing that decision that you're going to step into this expression of yourself and let yourself leap with faith, right? Trust in that deeper expression that's wanting to come through, that deeper meaning for you. And why it's so important for you to stand up and be who you are. You're not here to fight or manipulate anybody. You just want to experience who you are in all of you and your highest potential. So the attachments are coming in. You're feeling those attachments release, and you're feeling the binding of the ones that want to move. And so that kind of summarizes that row for you. And so when we take the action, you've got the Jack energy, Jack of clubs. Really getting used to what you don't know and welcoming yourself into new ideas, new things in the physical that want to represent themselves. That takes you into higher thinking, that births your creativity, that lets you stand in your power, that lets you get out of a fixed mindset into growth mindset, love yourself more and all that you're creating even more. So it's this little flow of message, which is kind of cool. So then the receiving column. You've got the King of Spades is inviting you to lead with mastery. So the journey of self-mastery, emotional mastery, all the tools, but not being prey to an old story anymore. You, for me, this feels like you did it. You came to clear the karma you've meant to clear in this life.
Yeah.
Your husband was that catalyst for you. Sets you free in so many ways. And now the rest of your years, especially as you get to be 42 and you're heading towards the moment where you're in your life spread again. Ooh, come up over here. So when you were born, where were you born? Jack of
Diamonds.
Do you see it?
Yeah, you're pointing at it.
There.
Yeah.
You were born in this spot, and so all your key codes, and we've kind of we'll dive a little bit more into them, but all your key codes for how you think, feel, act, all those patternings of what you'll deal with, even some of the things that you learned along the way, are all welcoming you to come back home to yourself. So that's really interesting. We used those words earlier. 0 point when you were born, this is what your chart looks like. And every year since then, you've been bouncing around the chart, experiencing the karma and the dharma of each of these other cards, the placements. And so we learn lessons. You don't need to know this to live your chart, but there'll be moments of seasons where you had good things, moments of seasons where you had other things happen, moments where you've learned lessons. So you can stand before me at 41 and be like, I learned some shit. I had some school of hard knocks. I'm done with the struggle. I want more peace and ease in my life. Right? And that's what happens when we hit 45. At age 45, we land right back into our birth chart again. And so you start again at this place with all the wisdom of that whole entire journey. We do it again at 90 and again, so on and so forth, if you were to live past that. What does that mean? Well, that means at 44, as these years go on, you're coming to the divine order of everything, where everything just flows. right? It's like someone dropped the deck and then we started living in this world, this game of life. This is your 44th year. It wants to be in order. So everything not in order up until that point, sometimes it starts a little earlier, will start to organize itself. So you can choose, do I want to keep going and stay here in this lifetime and keep working on these things? Or do I not? And you do.
Okay.
And so you've actually gone through that just a bit. Mine hit around 42 as well. And so by the time you're landing, you've got the guidance of this now to be like, and when I land here again, I want things to be a little different. And I'm already in trajectory for that.
In astrology, it's every 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you restart again.
So 42 next year for you is a big year as well. Which is why it starts the 7-year cycle of this particular journey.
I think I heard in astrology it was kind of like so year 1 to 7, right? It would be like I think 5, 6 or 4, 5 is like, it's like almost the burning, which is you go through the fire. Yep. And then it settles. But so there's always that part in every 7 years where you go through
Yes, it's a 7-year cycle. Yeah. And we can look at your chart in 7-year increments as well. And then we can look at the displacement. There's so many things we can look at. There's the essence of we call it the magic circle. Hold on. Hold, please. I have it. Like I grabbed it. I'm like, how do I do this in my...
Oh, wow.
Okay. Don't get overwhelmed. But there's like cycles that we go through from our age. So I can just speak for me real quickly because I know I'm right here. So when I came back at 45, I'm at career, family, and lifestyle. So 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, I went through a huge freaking awakening. The book is in your hands, right? All for career, family, and lifestyle. And then I really land for the next, this cycle goes for 9 years. The next 9 years is my spiritual cycle. So when you look at that and then you know me, you're like, weird, right? And so it is. And then these cards kind of play into that too. However, for you, Jack of Diamonds, so here you are. So you are 45, 44, 43, 42, 41. So you just started your material cycle. So you'll be spending, you will be, your homestead. You will be doing all of these things in the physical as you land back into your chart here. So you actually have to shut the fuck up.
That does not mean in the middle of my chart. Like, I'll be stable. Hopefully I'll be millionaire.
You can be. Like, right? Like, oh my, I'm looking. Use, 3 of spades. Well, they're right there, too. Hold on. This is where it gets creepy.
3 of spades there.
3 of spades, Jack of clubs. So anyway, so you would, I always forget which way this goes. Give me a moment. It's not my number. Displacement. Displacement. Okay, so your lifetime displacement is the 3 of spades. So now we start looking at the place of that, the lessons, the learning, and the sharing. You're literally playing out your lifetime displacement as an example of what else can be in your lifetime. So you've had this imposter syndrome. It's been playing a part, and now you're meeting yourself in this place. And it's here to help you rise above that into this, to the blessings that you have with the Jack of clubs. So the Jack energy is really strong. So yes, you feel like you need to know all the things, that you can't possibly just trust yourself in your intuition, but you're going to find that when you let that sacrificing go, letting everyone else have everything, and stepping into that for you and letting yourself be in that place of, okay, I get to figure this out. And I can trust that I see it and know it a certain way that I can land into that. You're going to have the play back into that role. Because Jacks get really bored really fast.
That's me.
Right?
Yeah.
So, sorry, a little tangent there, but it's fun when the cards start showing up. First I thought it was this one and this one. And I was like, you can't make it. Okay. So then we've got the accountability. So now that you've decided the things you've decided and you're on the trajectory that you're on the trajectory of.
So in here, in the action.
Oh, we didn't finish, do we?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I'll just read the cards for you so you get a general. Leading with mastery, coming into unity consciousness, Christ consciousness, letting that land into you're being invited. Your awakening is taking you into this anyway. You've got the out of the practical mind into the creative leadership. You've got the foundation of higher meaning in your life. You've got the clearing of karma into more of what you love and harmonize with, which is what you've been kind of weeding through, right? landing into, again, the queen and her higher wisdom that wants to flow to you, the nurturing wisdom that's here to support you, and land you into a foundation of finances, land you into a foundation in the physical that you're really wanting to create anyway. Okay? So these are all the blessings. If you should, this is your mission, if you should choose to accept it.
King's intimidating, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, and this is, you've met me, and this is what I teach. These two things right here.
Yeah.
Okay? And so however we get there at your pace where you're ready for it, and we take you into a journey of yourself with a whole new perspective. So then the accountability, and this is your millionaire's card.
Yay!
Right? So, yeah, if that's what you want, it's there for you. And this is like anything can happen.
Definitely better not financial stability, but better financial freedom.
Yeah, and everything. So this question was about being fulfilled at work.
One of the reasons I wanted to be promoted was, the salary range pops up.
Right.
Yeah. It's always good to have.
So you're being held accountable to what you said you wanted, even if it doesn't look the way you thought it had to look to get there.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the adventure of trusting that more and letting yourself, you're invited to take that higher into perspective, not just, I always think of it like horses are in a race. We're looking this way at life. Here's work. You just asked to be fulfilled at work. So obviously this isn't cutting it. Jack goes, open everything and see all around you from a higher perspective, right? It can be yours when you're willing to do that. And then change that thinking. Find harmony in your thinking that leads you into the harmony in the physical, to let go of the inner things that are holding you from stepping into that role. So you can be looking at the journey with fulfillment by loving what you're creating, loving yourself through it, and then letting it take you into higher experience beyond what the mind knows.
So my question to you, in terms of like orders, this is my mindset that I've realized, and this is me grounding into my feelings.
Yes.
How I get what each mean, but I don't know how it applies to the columns.
Oh, okay. So,
like, I get that. So this is the action I need to take.
So the answer to your question is the new belief to create.
Yeah.
Is the creativity and innovation.
Yeah. And I need to allow and receive and unblock a lot of things.
Yes.
And then,
so we're just diving deeper into this position of time. What else is supporting you in this new belief?
Okay.
Does that make sense? So so if we start asking other questions beyond the focus of the fulfillment, then we veer from this reading. That can be a different reading. Does that make sense?
No, I know, but
okay.
Like with this question, there's a mind, there's a feel, there's an action. Like, how do I relate each card to the column? Like, action.
Oh, got you. Yeah, so I'm kind of just reading from, like, the accountability and breaking out the story that it's unfolding.
How do I apply this specifically to accountability and this one to
action?
To receiving.
Oh, okay.
And then action.
So the mastery that you're learning now, these conversations, this clearing, is really helping you to do these things. This is already done.
Oh, okay.
It's just giving you the key codes where you're fighting yourself.
Okay.
Okay? So you actually asked, is there a millionaire, or however you mentioned the millions in there.
Oh, no. At my age 45, am I going to be a millionaire?
No, let's say you're being held accountable to that dream.
Okay.
It has to do with work, being fulfilled.
Yeah.
But this key core belief is what there's a big system of beliefs I want to shift in there, but this is the core one. Okay, and then it's clearing the karma to lead you to the higher transformation, which is really cool. So down here is where we start integrating. How can I best integrate this? Well, from this new way of thinking, you're going to be able to look back. You've been telling me multiple times how, like, all of a sudden you're able to go, oh, this is these things, and this is why they came to be, so I can be here, right?
Yeah.
Let that lead you into more self-love, not self-deprecation. Okay, being with the love of it, letting fear go, claiming what you want in the physical. So we mentioned the wanting to be more, I don't know why I keep forgetting the word. Happens. Disciplined. So the discipline that'll bring you what you want in the physical, right? Yes, the money's great and it brings fulfillment at work, but some of these things are at play as you're integrating. So some of the things that are physically happening in leadership at work could be here to help you integrate as well. So kings lead in the physical. It's about fulfillment at work, it's about the money. The leadership can take you to the money. Okay? New ideas. Leadership, loving what you're leading. Leadership in your mind. Mindset, feelings, physical. The transformation that got you here, now you're integrating. You literally have this opportunity when this happens to integrate all of this. But it's just showing signs of leadership. Do you see that?
It's a lot of kings.
Yeah. Which is interesting because we were talking about that before we actually pulled the cards for this. So the integration will be through the leadership. Okay? And then the ascension, how do I ascend? And then if you have a question, like if any of these cards stick out, like we can go a little deeper, like this one that was kind of grabbing your attention. That's the enlightenment. You'll find the enlightenment through the mastery. You'll let go of the overwhelm when you stop sacrificing yourself and everything you love for what you're really wanting to express by trusting in that unity consciousness, that connection with source. Okay? That's the fulfillment key right here. The separation of the mind is keeping you from the bliss and the fulfillment that you want. And then down here we're integrating stability and sanctuary is the harmony in this relationship of loving work, loving yourself in that position at work even more. Letting go of the attachment of how you think it has to look or why you're not qualified in the mind. Letting go of the attachment of being loved or not loved. Love comes from you anyway. Letting yourself trust yourself. This is what really feels in this card. Take your thinking higher. You're welcoming yourself into a higher expression of love. So you can have everything you want. That's what the queen does. She wants everything. She knows she can have it all. But the unexpected is what's going to get you there. So it's going to come through the unexpected, the unknown, not the known. Letting go of the control. While you still apply your skills and your knowledge, it's going to be the key code that lands you into letting yourself express that way. You've got to build a relationship with that, not just throw it under the rug. So your vision and leadership, a relationship to more. Opening yourself to receive the permission, the position, the opportunity, the physical experience of doing. Okay. The self-mastery, there's multiple ways to create in the physical. There's multiple ways to bring in money. And without that, you're just creating that hole of anxiety that wants to be creation in motion. Okay. Wants to amplify. So amplifying your self-mastery is the key to all of the things. Okay. And then the greater potential is being invited into higher meaning. Being invited to the freedom of expressing yourself in that deeper meaning. Pretty wild, huh? How does that land for you?
I went through a whole slew of emotions.
Yeah. What are the strongest ones?
What
are the scariest ones?
It's always the unknown. Just the unknown. It's fear of failure, a little bit of fear of succeeding.
Where do you feel it in your body?
I can't tell.
What do your arms want to tell you? Tell me these questions.
No, I actually noticed that. I'm like, my arms are crossed. But,
ask them.
I will, because I have, I didn't sleep well, so I've been having a headache since I came.
Okay.
The headache's gone.
Okay.
Weirdly enough. I know it's a tension here and here.
Okay. Are you willing to go into that?
Yeah, I am. Like, I'm surprised the headache was gone as we're going down. Just went out. And then...
Sometimes we just have to turn the faucet on more and let more force in.
It's so much letting go. But that's my whole journey.
Yeah.
My whole journey is about self-expression, being accepted. Or no, actually not being accepted. Being seen. And letting go. Like, my journey with my boyfriend, because I was a control freak, but being kind to myself, understandably so, because when you're in a toxic environment, it's like...
You had reinforced behavior, toxic reinforcement.
And you have to be in control, because that's all you can control.
Protect yourself.
Yeah, so...
Letting go doesn't mean losing yourself.
No, that's the fight yesterday was like, he brought up that, like, oh, I can't disagree with you, and I was like, give me an example, you know. And he couldn't give me an example because, like, I want to know if I've been doing it recently.
Yeah, he'll shut down too.
Huh?
He'll shut down too. If he's had trauma, and you're like, give me an example, and I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah.
But it's essentially saying you're wrong. Then he's like, you're right. Just it's not even worth it.
No. I told him, like, and I'm not challenging you. Give me an example because I want to know. Like, I want to know.
I want to see it.
So right? I said, my journey with you, ever since in the beginning when we were in a relationship and he broke down and told me I was controlling, that was a come to Jesus moment for me. Because I'm like, this is not the relationship I want you to experience. I care about you. So I worked. I even like, if I am this person to you today, despite all the work, I actually said, I'd rather go, and because you deserve better. And I meant that.
So what if your perceived lack of control is his also trigger of letting go of control showing up as well? What if it's not you that's wrong?
No, at this point, he apologized because he said, you're right, I can't. And he was sincere.
You've got triggers activating.
Yeah. But he was sincere. He said, you're right, you haven't done it for a while.
Yeah. So he's operating off an old story.
Yeah. So
as long as he has that old story, he doesn't have to face the new one that might be uncomfortable with whatever else you were talking about.
Yeah, it was just, he brought it up because we have other issues, right? It was kind of like, it's just in the moment. But when he brought it up, it was so triggering because I told him, I don't know what else I can do so that you feel safe and I'm not, you know. And so...
Can I ask you another question?
Sure. I just brought it up because control came up here.
I know you love him. Is he the guy for you?
I think so. I'm really serious with this, and this is the person. But I have also let go. So much letting go with this guy.
Is it exhausting or is it fulfilling?
No, it's fulfilling now.
Okay, good.
What I'm saying is, like, last year he was like always initiating. He has his own traumas, so he's protecting his individuality a lot. He was initiating a lot of, like, it's not working, you know, let's break up. And I told you about, like, okay, if you still have it in you, can we do therapy? And he said yes, so it's been great.
Yeah.
But of course we still have healing, you know.
You're learning to grow together.
Yeah.
Not just operating out of these old ways.
And he hasn't done for a year now. Let's break up or anything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I still have that trauma that whenever he's overwhelmed, like, are you gonna leave me? So I have let go maybe middle of the year that, you know, if you're going, you're going.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna hurt me, but
he's still here.
Yeah. So it's I've let go of that, and it's funny because when I've let go of that, then he's staying. Like, okay, you know. So the theme of control is over here, so that's a little bit triggering, but also not triggering. It's a little bit because it's still fresh.
It's real, right? It's like that's where we feel it.
Yeah. So here a lot of let go. Basically, the let go and unknown.
Yeah.
Theme is here. Oh, I hate the unknown.
Yeah, and let's talk. I mean, if you want to, we can talk about that.
Yeah. And
it doesn't feel safe. I know my journey.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G in place for any of those to happen, so at least I'm ready.
Yeah.
But if we live our life that way, we just get more of the same shit.
It's a definition. It's funny because, like, for instance, I have more money now, then I know what to do with it. It doesn't mean I'm super rich. It's just like I never had that before. So it's now like, what do I do with it?
Right.
Yeah, what do I do with this? And now it's like, you know that in the past week I've been in this journey of like, oh shit, did I just committed to too much spending? Because like I got a designer and I got you know, and then I lent money, and it's like,
but you can have what you want.
Yeah, but then I received multiple monies yesterday alone. You know, it's
Right.
just
It's an energetic flow.
Mm-hmm.
It's not limited, and we hold on. You've released the debt of the money physically, so the money flow is not an issue.
Yeah.
But you might have patterns of debt in relationship. You might have patterns of debt in your health. You might have patterns of debt in your creative expression.
Yeah.
That want to also flow just as equally.
Yeah.
But they're just rising up to be brought into awareness now, because once they're conscious, they can't live unconscious.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have to feel our feelings, even if it's icky for the minute.
Yeah. So it's a balance of, it's not necessarily control. So for instance, I'm more aware of my money now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
You're actually navigating your money now.
Yeah. So I'm navigating. So in a way, that's also control, but at the same time, there needs to be trust that.
That's strategy.
Yeah. Also, that's strategizing, not necessarily controlling.
Strategy is different than control.
Yeah. So that's the.
You're super wicked freaking smart and awesome with it.
Oh, I'm learning. I'm still learning.
Right. And you're learning everything else too, so you'll get there.
Yeah. So I hope that applies to other areas of my life, such as my body and my hormonal changes, you know, and the relationship, I kind of just want to let it be.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it's two people. I'm going to love you the best way I can. That's all I could do.
Will you love you the best way you can?
I'm trying. That's why I'm here.
So this layer of message is just really loving you, becoming that expression of love through you as you.
Yeah.
And that's what you're not familiar with.
Well, the unknown doesn't feel, it feels very separate. Yeah. Like if I have to imagine it in a room, it's in a corner, right? Yeah.
Baby don't like to be put in the corner.
Huh?
Is it baby doesn't like to be put in the corner?
I don't think anything does. It's kind of like that was a good trick I learned in coaching school, which is kind of like, oh, if you are to imagine you or whatever they have struggles with, like your body, your health, your like where is it? And it's a really good visualization with your goal.
Yeah.
And like one visualization I had was like, I'm here and it's in a corner there, and then you'll realize that you're not even, either you're not seeing yourself being able to achieve the goal, or like you're in that mindset where it's kind of like, oh, it's for other people, not me, you know. Yeah. So it's like,
I just thought of something fun to play with. We'll see where it goes. From your perspective, where you're sitting right now, where does the unknown live? Is it behind you in that corner, or is it literally in a different corner? If you're facing me.
Oh, it's in that pot.
Over here in the pot?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Where is your higher self if you were to think of her?
It's just here. Just left side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then where, when your higher self is next to you, and you bring her in, bring your essence into you, because she doesn't actually live in us, right? Where do you feel her in your body?
All over.
Good.
Yeah.
And just bring your awareness to feeling that just a little bit more. And then play with that energy and see if you can expand it throughout your body from head to toe. And just notice if anything feels tense. And just breathe if it does. And then when you feel that energy flowing from head to toe and everywhere in between, see if you can bring that energy into your heart and let me know when it's there, kind of pooling and swirling. Good. And I want you to notice from the top of your head that beautiful, warm, golden light of source energy, life force energy, as it comes through the top of the head, makes its way down through the body. First, we notice it in the space between the eyes, and it comes down beyond the nose, maybe oozing down beyond the throat, making its way down the chest and meeting in the heart, swirling with that essence of yours. So now we have life force energy in your essence. Maybe you see colors, maybe you don't, maybe an image. How would you rather feel about the unknown? What would be a magic wand moment if I can wave a magic wand and you could befriend the unknown? How would that feel?
I mean, I just want it to be part of me. It's like there's parts of myself I don't know either.
Yeah. Would that be trust or love? Value?
I'm neutral. Basically, I just want it
belonging.
Yeah, just like, oh, you're there, right?
Okay.
It's not that it's not valuable. It's just that I want to feel like it's always been there, either like almost like indifference with a sense of familiarity. Like it's just always been there. Yeah.
Maybe freedom.
Sure.
More friendship?
More just a part of me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it belongs, basically.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. So I want you to feel in your body a frequency. We're going to invite a frequency in, a frequency of belonging. It's going to come in from the front of you, in through your heart, like pouring into your heart, this sense of belonging, this feeling. What does belonging feel like?
Playful, energetic.
Beautiful. Now it's swirling and dancing with your essence, and that's swirling and dancing with source energy, life force energy. It's creating this beautiful cocktail in your heart. Good job. And now hold your hands out, if you will, just in front of you so it's comfortable. Like you're going to pour that energy from your heart into your hands and create a ball.
Mm-hmm.
And letting it just fill and fill and fill. Maybe it starts changing colors or swirling, looking like cotton candy with some gold sparkles. Who knows? And just when it starts to feel really big and heavy, I want you to place your hands into your heart, swooshing all that energy inside. And as you do, see if you can feel it with like this explosion, wanting to go in through the top of your head, down towards your feet, and all around in between. And can you feel the amplification of that all working together?
Mm-hmm.
Good. We're going to keep pouring in more belonging into the heart space, receiving more source energy from the top of the head. And now we're going to play with that sense of energy and see if we can expand it out in front of us into our field. And then seeing if we can play with that energy behind the heart into the back of us in our field. And then to the right, as far as it can go. And then the left of us. Now see if you can take that whole mixture, belonging, love, source, your essence, and expand it into the whole room. And maybe into the next room. Maybe out into your car. Out beyond Chico. See if you can stretch it all the way home. As far out into the universe as you can dare see it go. As it comes back to you, imagine the universe sending back a wave of particles and ripples back with that energy, and it's coming toward you. And it begins to make this figure eight that comes around your shoulder and in through the back of your heart. And as it comes out through your heart, it creates an 8 all the way out to the horizon again and back. And see if you can repeat that pattern 3 times, letting it come through the back of your heart, out, crossing in the front, expanding it out as far as you can see, bringing it back around, curving into that figure 8, where it comes behind you once more, fills the back of the heart, and expands out as far as you can take it. What is that one next step that you can take to create more belonging with this relationship with the unknown? I need one word pop in your mind, an image.
Oh, I just said fuck it.
Nice.
That's what, when you asked that, I'm like, that's not really an action. Yeah.
That could be true.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's just do it.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good. How does your job feel?
That's always a thing. I have TMJ problems. I grind when I think. Oh, I don't necessarily. I clench.
I used to grind in my sleep. This whole back part of my mouth is like really low compared to the other side.
So I don't grind. I clench.
Do you?
Yeah, and I do that with my butthole as well.
Well.
Yeah, my pelvic PT was like really like you need to unclench, and I'm like, tell me how.
So you can actually take that visualization and just take that energy into the body to open it and relax. You can direct it to do anything.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of...
I have a whole... it's so funny too because I had to go to a sex shop just to buy the tools. Like my pelvic PT had to send me there, and unfortunately it's cost because I had so many fibroids that it weighed it down.
God.
Yeah. But I'm sure it's been healing.
Yeah. It'll let go as you let go. It's like a physical manifestation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also like everything, like the stress with my marriage. It was just like.
Of course.
All the time.
You didn't want to be there, even though you thought you wanted to be there, and your body's like, don't touch me. Like, right?
Yeah.
It just takes a little bit to let that.
Yeah.
But that, kind of what we're talking about today too, is that you can just be relaxed. You can literally say, my butthole is relaxed. like those kind of things on those tapes to reinforce what you want the body to open up and do. It'll respond.
Yeah.
Just so good. How was this?
It's great. It's great. So my understanding is everything is happening. This is like...
It's all happening. We can look at it, like I could have just left it here as an answer. But it gives you a whole, it wasn't wrong. But it also gives you the key to help to integrate it. Yes, you're being accountable to, it feels like the vision for the fulfillment in this work is this goal, right? That's going to...
Well, that's not really the goal. It's just nice. Yeah.
It's a representation of letting yourself have more, right?
Yeah.
Being invited into higher sense of value, not as what you do, but who you are in the becoming of it.
Yeah.
But clearing the karma that lands you into the letting go to land into more. I look at the 10s as more. You're looking back on the journey now with all the wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, I think it's really valuable. And the new ideas in leadership, like... this might just be me and how I'm filtering it, but literally what we're saying, if the opportunity is here for you to step into that, the only way you're going to know what it's like on the other end is by doing it. It doesn't have to be perfect. They're not asking the other guys to do it. They're asking you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
If you don't do it, then great, you don't do it. But at least you tried. You can't get that mark on the next report, right?